We're here. We're happy to be in Polk County, and we really have a great announcement today. You see a lot of great people here. I'm also joined by Dane Eagle, who's our director of the Florida Department of Economic Opportunity, and he's been instrumental in today's announcement. So I also want to recognize Senator Kelly Stargell, who couldn't make it, as well as Colleen Burton. Representative Burton, is she? You guys are done today? You were done yesterday?
We're accomplishing.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's very, very important. So we want to thank them for their support. So today we're announcing almost $150 million in awards to Florida communities for more resilient infrastructure. And here in Lakeland, we're proud to do the award for the $42 million for the project, which I'll talk about in a minute. But you look through all around Florida: Broward County, $6.2 million. City of Arcadia, $4.8 million. Avon Park, $670,000. Doral, $1 million. Fort Lauderdale, $10.5 million. Key West, 2 different awards totaling nearly $10 million. Of course, City of Lakeland here, $42.9 million for the multi-component project in partnership with Bonnet Springs Park. City of Lauderdale, $3.1 million. City of Miami, $13.5 million. City of Miami, $1.2 million. North Miami Beach, $6 million. Another North Miami Beach, $11.7 million. Orlando, $2.8 million. Sebring, $2.6 million. Another Sebring at $3.5 million. West Palm Beach, $16.7 million. DeSoto County, $3.7 million. Another DeSoto County at $3.2 million. Then Osceola County at $4.7 million. So this is almost $150 million. When Dane came aboard, I said, we want to get this resiliency funding out. So we've done close to $500 million since he's been on board over these months, and we have more to come. And of course, this is money, long-term infrastructure money in the aftermath of storms like Hurricane Irma. We also are going to do more with Hurricane Michael. We'll have some announcements soon, which is really just the panhandle. But then in the legislature, both my initiatives for Resilient Florida and then what the legislature is working on, we're going to have a steady stream of money to be able to deal with resiliency and different infrastructure needs. So today, though, is really great to be here. This was the big enchilada in terms of the awards that we did. The City of Lakeland, in partnership with Bonnet Springs Park, applied. This project is an essential piece of a larger $110 million publicly and privately funded effort to provide economic and social benefits for the entire community in a county with one of the nation's highest suburban poverty rates. This approach, they've used opportunity zones. They've done a lot of stuff. The neighborhoods surrounding Lake Bonnet and Bonnet Springs Park have a high, low, and moderate income population, typically over 50% per census block, with some census blocks above 80%. We've obviously had storms that have come through here that have caused problems. So this is a multi-component project centering on adding flood storage capacity to the drainage basin through improvements to stormwater infrastructure and the watershed resilience. Project will include environmental and engineering design support, sediment dredging and capping, remediation for recreational use, and construction of upstream stormwater enhancement and treatment, flood protection mitigation, and in-lake debris mitigation. So we think that this mitigation is important. It's important for safety, security. It's important for food, water, shelter, transportation, also combating hazardous materials. So I think this is a big win for the community here in Lakeland and also Polk County as a whole. And we're in the final stages of the budget in Tallahassee. We've already seen some resiliency legislation. I identified a number of dollars, a lot of money, out of the federal stimulus money that can be used for resiliency projects. So this is great. Dane's going to be doing more. We're going to be doing more with DEO, but we also think you're going to see a lot of opportunities coming up once this budget is signed and once all the legislation is signed. So it's going to be a great stretch run here for some infrastructure in a variety of ways. So I'm going to let Dane come up and say a few things.
Well, thank you, Governor, and thank you all for being here today and everyone behind us for making this a reality. But the Governor's absolutely right. When I started in September, it was a great honor to join the administration, but his number one ask of me or real direction was get this money out the door. It does no good sitting in our government coffers. It needs to be in the hand of the communities. So we're proud that this announcement today is marking nearly $500 million, $500 million that we've been able to announce at DEO per the Governor's direction and guidance. $150 million we're announcing today across the state, and a big chunk of it right here in Lakeland. We understood the regional impact that this would have, and we wanted to be here today to make this statewide announcement. And really kudos to the people behind us for making it happen. The mayor, the congressman, I don't leave anybody out, Representative Bell, who was able to sneak away, and I know Senator Stargell and Representative Burton are back in Tallahassee. They've been banging on my door nonstop, making sure that this would happen. So really it was an easy decision to make, and the governor's proud to push this along. And as he said, we have more to do. This is important to make sure this infrastructure happens. The Office of Long-Term Resiliency, which is within DEO, our goal is to not only make sure that you're rebuilding from past storms, but really looking ahead to that next storm. We all know as Floridians it's going to happen again. So we got to make sure we're more resilient. And with this project, looking at water quality and quantity issues, the flooding aspect of it, blue-green algae, I'm from Southwest Florida, where we're no stranger to that. We know the devastating effects that has on a community, and that was the number one goal of the governor's coming in. So we look forward to doing more, but we're very pleased for this announcement today. You can learn more at rebuildflorida.gov, and thank you all for making this happen.
Okay.
Governor DeSantis, Dane, and DEO, and all that are involved. I think I speak for the citizens of Lakeland and the region as being proud to be the big enchilada. So we're grateful for that. What we really are celebrating, though, is not only the creation of an iconic park, but the mitigation that will take place because of it. And it really took all the efforts of brilliant investors along the way trying to put together a plan that not only transforms Florida, but does it responsibly. So directing the money this way is a great, great gift, and we thank you.
Great.
Governor, on behalf of Bonnet Springs Park, I also want to thank you and tell you what an incredible impact this is going to have on these communities that are targeted. The park board that we have at Bonnet Springs Park has so generously gifted the community with a $110 million park, but it's sitting on the dirtiest asset in the city of Lakeland lake system. We're impacting Tampa Bay with our water outfalls. This has significant impact, and I can't emphasize enough how thrilled we are that our dream came true. Thank you.
Great.
And Governor, thank you again. I want to echo the sentiments of the mayor and Bill Tinsley. This is a major victory today for our region. To me, this is a perfect example of what the public and private partnership ought to be. The impact is going to be so far-reaching for our community for generations. We're cleaning up a polluted site. We're improving the watershed. We're helping to bridge a community that's been divided for over 100 years, and it couldn't happen without this. This is the crowning piece of the puzzle that we've been trying to put together here, and I'm just so appreciative for the efforts of everyone on the city staff of Lakeland and all of those in our legislature that have helped make this happen, but we really appreciate it. Thank you.
Great. Well, we're excited. We think this is going to be great. We're excited about the other projects that have been announced. We're also excited about the momentum we have, and we'll be doing more stuff, particularly over these next few years. So if you look what's where we are, go back a year. If we were in the third week of April, everyone was saying that the budget was going to be catastrophic. And obviously we did see, I mean, you saw the economic activity across the country had collapsed, people had lost jobs, revenue was going down, and people predicted, I think, a lot of really doomsday scenarios, and obviously, you know, that was a possibility. But I think the way Florida's handled the last year, we've been able to bounce back. Our unemployment's 4.7%, the national is 6%. And that's with one of our major industries forcibly closed by the federal government, the cruise lines. Now, we're suing, and we think that they need to be allowed to sail again. But just think how many jobs, particularly in a place like Miami-Dade, are impacted by that. We also don't have the travel like we normally would internationally from these places. And so we've had a lot of handicaps, but then still have been able to outpace the nation. And I think the And interesting with the cruise stuff, I mean, what is the proper role of government? Can an unelected agency just mothball an entire industry for a year with no end in sight? I mean, they've done these things in the interim which aren't going to make a difference. They won't give a firm date of when you could just go. I think it raises a lot of implications far beyond just our economy or the cruise lines, and ultimately who governs? Do we govern ourselves? Can we make these decisions for ourselves, or is everything subcontracted out to an unelected bureaucracy? With all due respect, to the CDC has had a rough year. I mean, in terms of some of the things they've gotten wrong. It's sad to say, but unfortunately that's been the case. So we think legally we're right on that case. But I just think as a matter of governance, this can't be that you can just shut down for a year when everywhere else, Asia, Europe, are sailing. Guess what? These ships will sail. Okay, they're going to sail this summer in one way or another. It may be out of the Bahamas instead of out of Florida, but the same people who would come to Florida to fly are just going to go to the Bahamas and sail. It's going to be the same activity. So all it is inhibiting us. So we've not necessarily even been dealt a fair hand and still been able to do. And so the result on the budget is every time they revise the revenue, they're revising it up and up. And so we're going to have the ability to meet the needs. I said from the very beginning, we're not cutting K-12. People said, oh, no, it's going to. I was like, no, and it didn't happen. I'm committed to supporting bright futures. We're going to do that. I'm committed to continuing our progress with environment, water quality, Everglades restoration. We're going to do that. And so I think that if you would have gone back a year and then said this is the situation we'd be in, most people would have said that that's way too rosy of a scenario. And so, we're fortunate, I think, that we've done it right. We've got a lot of work to do, don't get me wrong, but I think that we've beaten expectations across the board, and I think the budget that the legislature ends up doing will further confirm that. So thanks, everyone. Happy to take a question or two.
Governor, why did your Department of Health cut off Orange County from the state database once it gave over public records on vaccination rates by zip code?
You have to ask the Department of Health. I'm not involved in that.
Isn't that your administration?
Right, but only certain issues get to my desk. Some of that is just not something that would reach my desk.
Do you feel the public should have a right to see vaccination rate by zip code?
You should talk to the Department of Health about it.
There's legislation to increase unemployment benefits. Do you support that?
Increase benefits? Look, no. I mean, I think we're getting people back to work. You see or hear these stories about there's businesses need more. Our goal is to get people back to work. I think there's a lot of demand right now. I'd like to get that unemployment rate below 4% if we can. But it's going to take, it's going to take some of these inhibitions being moved off and us being able to operate all of our industries. But there is demand in the economy for hiring, and that's a good thing. Much different than it was a year ago.
So you said no to increasing unemployment benefits. You don't support that, right?
Our unemployment is what it is. It's fine. The federal government obviously has put in a lot of money. How much have we paid out?
$26 billion.
We've paid out $26 billion over the last year. That's got to be more than like the previous 10 or 20 years combined. So we've paid out a lot.
Where do we stand on the vaccines in terms of maybe opening up for some other businesses to start distributing them?
So the vaccines are open to everyone who's eligible under the EUA, so 16 and up for Moderna, I think, and 18 and up for Pfizer. So businesses are able to send folks however they want to do it. Now, I don't think we have given directly to businesses, just simply because I don't think that there's been necessarily a need to do it, because you have an adequate supply for where the demand is. What you're going to see in about another year or a few weeks, we may even be there now, but certainly by May, there's going to be a surplus of vaccines. And so the challenge is going to be people that are on the fence about it or don't really want to do it, let them know it's there, and then convince them to do it. I must say that we're not helped in this regard by the behavior of some of these public health people, particularly in the federal government. I mean, how they handled the J&J, I think, was a huge mistake. I mean, like, I don't know the information they have, but if you're going to do that, you could have done that in a way that was not going to cause a lot of people to lose confidence. If you look at how people view J&J now, the positive view plunged as a result. So I think it could have been handled better. I also think it's a problem where you're telling people to get vaccine, and yet people that have been vaccinated for months are wearing 2 masks. Okay, so I think the vaccines have been effective. I think that's why you see the senior hospitalization numbers have gone down and everything. So I advocate for it, but I also can't square if the vaccine's effective, why would you need to be wearing 2 masks, like some of these folks are doing? It doesn't make sense. So I think the messaging on this has been horrific. The messaging should be, get a vaccine because it's good for you to do it. It works. You're not going to have to be doing anything like abnormal. You can live your life. I mean, that has got to be what the message is. Unfortunately, I think the message has been very muddled when you tell people, oh, yeah, this is important, go get the vaccine, but then you still got a social, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't eat in a restaurant. Some of the people are still saying that kind of stuff. I think it's a huge, huge blunder to be able to do it. So the challenge for us is going to be, we're going to have vaccine available, and you're not going to be able to probably fill up the appointments, and I think that that's going to be consistent throughout the country. So my view is if you get a vaccine, the vaccines are effective, you're immune, and so act immune. If you tell people the opposite, then why, if it's not effective for them and it's not going to change anything, then what's the point of going through it? I think it's been really, really problematic how they've messaged this. So in Florida, we've been very consistent about it. We think they're effective. We're not going to mandate anyone, of course, but we want to offer it to everybody, encourage people to do it, but then also let them know that if you do it, you should act immune, and you should enjoy yourself and have confidence in it. So, but we're going to be in a situation where sometime in May across the country, remember at the end of December, beginning of January, I mean, it was like we had millions of people who wanted it. We had 100,000, 150,000 available for distribution. I think it's going to be the opposite. I think you're going to have hundreds of thousands, 500, 600, 700,000 coming in, and you're probably going to have less than that who want it. We've now done, we're close to about 3.75 million seniors that have gotten at least one shot, and the overwhelming majority of that are fully vaccinated. And I think that that's one of the reasons why you see the hospital admissions for seniors are less than what they were 3 or 4 months ago. So I do think it's had a positive effect. So, okay, well, we'll be back to do more very soon. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.